Namaste everyone and welcome to episode 4 of the Anna Publishing Monthly Research and Ethics series. I am Dr. Aamarpali Roy and today we will discuss one of the most important practical skills in academic research, how to write a research paper for journal publication. Many researchers conduct valuable studies but often face difficulty while organizing their ideas into a clear, professional, and publishable manuscript. A strong research paper is not only about good data, it is also about effective academic communication. In today's session, we will focus specifically on original research articles and understand how each section of a manuscript should be written. From the title and abstract to the conclusion and references. Whether you are a PhD scholar, faculty member, postgraduate student, or early career researcher, this session is designed to help you improve both your academic writing quality and your publication readiness. So, let us begin our discussion. In our previous episode, we discussed predatory journals, peer review, academic credibility, and the importance of selecting the right journal for publication. That discussion was extremely important because publishing research is not only about writing a paper, it is also about ensuring that the work reaches a credible academic platform. Today, we move to the next practical step in research journey. How to actually write a well-structured research paper suitable for journal publication. Many manuscripts are rejected not because the research is poor, but because the writing lacks structure, clarity, organization, or proper presentation. So, today's session will help you understand how academic manuscripts are professionally developed and presented. By the end of today's session, you will understand the standard structure of an original research paper and academic purpose of each section. We will discuss how to write titles, abstracts, introductions, literature reviews, methodology sections, results, discussions, conclusions, and references effectively. We will also look at common academic writing mistakes that researchers frequently make during manuscript preparation. In addition, we will discuss practical strategies that improve clarity, readability, and overall manuscript quality. Finally, we will understand some important aspects of manuscript preparation before journal submission, including formatting, peer review, and responding to reviewers' comments. The goal of this session is not only to help you write, but to help you communicate your research professionally and ethically. Before we move into manuscript writing, it is important to understand that academic publishing includes different types of scholarly manuscripts. Researchers may publish original research articles, literature review papers, case studies, short communications, conceptual papers, and several other formats depending on nature of their work and requirement of the journal. However, in today's session, our primary focus will be on original research articles, which are among the most commonly published forms of academic manuscripts. We will discuss the standard structure generally followed in academic journals, including the title, abstract, keyword, introduction, literature review, methodology, result discussion, conclusion, and references. At the same time, it is important to remember that different manuscripts, categories, and journals may follow different structures, formatting styles, and submission requirements. Understanding the structure of an original research article is a fundamental step in academic publishing because Structure creates clarity and clarity improves communication. Most original research papers follow a systematic academic structure. Each section of the manuscript serves a specific purpose and contributes to the overall flow of research paper. For example, the title introduces the study briefly, while the abstract provides a concise summary of the entire research work. After the abstract, journals usually require keywords which help improve indexing, discoverability, and search visibility of the research article in academic databases and search engines. The introduction explains the background and objectives of the study, while the literature review connects the research with existing scholarly work. Similarly, the methodology describes how the research was conducted, the result present, the findings, and discussion interprets those findings in relation to research objectives and previous studies. The conclusion summarizes the major outcomes of the study, and finally, references acknowledge the scholarly sources used in the research. When these sections are written properly and connected logically, the manuscript becomes easier for editors, reviewers, and readers to understand. A well structured paper not only improves readability but also strengthens the professionalism and credibility of the research. Good research alone is not always sufficient for successful publication. Researchers may conduct excellent studies, but if the writing lacks clarity, organization, or proper presentation, the manuscript may still face rejection. Good academic writing helps communicate ideas clearly and professionally. It improves readability, allows readers to understand the research more effectively, and increases the overall impact of the study. Clear writing also reflects the researcher's seriousness, preparation, and academic discipline. One important thing to remember is that academic writing does not mean using overly complex language. In fact, strong academic writing is usually simple, precise, logical, and easy to follow. Strong research requires strong presentation, and effective writing is one of the most important skills for every researcher. The title is often the first thing that editors, reviewers, and readers notice about a research paper. A good title should be clear, concise, informative, and directly related to study. It should communicate the central focus of the research without being unnecessarily lengthy or confusing. Many researchers make the mistake of using overly broad or vague titles, while others try to include too much information in a single sentence. Both approaches can reduce readability and impact. An effective title helps readers immediately understand what the paper is about and whether it is relevant to the area of interest. In many cases, the title also influences search visibility in academic databases and search engines. Therefore, selecting appropriate and meaningful keywords within the title is also important. The abstract is a brief summary of the entire research paper and is often one of the most widely read sections of a manuscript. In many situations, readers decide whether to continue reading the full paper based on the quality of abstract alone. A strong abstract should briefly explain the research problem, objectives, methodology, major findings, and overall conclusion of the study. The abstract should be concise, clear, and informative. It should provide enough information for readers to understand the essence of the research without reading the complete manuscript. Researchers should avoid unnecessary background details, excessive technical explanations, or citations within the abstract, unless specifically required by the journal. With the abstract, journals usually require authors to provide keywords. Keywords are important because they improve the discoverability and indexing of research articles in academic databases and search engines. Researchers should select specific, relevant, and meaningful terms that accurately reflect the major themes and concepts of the study. The introduction section sets the foundation for the entire research paper. Its purpose is to introduce the research topic, provide necessary background information, and explain why the study is important. A good introduction gradually guides the reader from the broad research area towards the specific problem being investigated. This section should also identify research gaps in existing literature and clearly explain how the current study attempts to address those gaps. Towards the end of the introduction, researchers usually present the objectives, research questions, or hypotheses of the study. A strong introduction creates context, establishes relevance, and prepares readers to understand the rest of the manuscript. The literature review is an essential component of academic research because it connects the current study with the existing scholarly knowledge. This section helps researchers summarize previous studies, identify gaps in the knowledge, understand theoretical perspectives, and justify the need for present research. A good literature review is not simply a collection of summaries, instead, it involves critical analysis, comparison of studies, identification of patterns, and evaluations of existing findings. Researchers should use recent, credible, and relevant academic sources while preparing this section. A well written literature review demonstrates that researchers understand the field thoroughly and is aware of the current academic discussion related to the topic. The methodology section explains how the research was conducted. This is one of the most important parts of a research paper because it provides transparency and allows readers to understand the scientific approach used in the study. In this section, researchers usually describe the research design, sampling methods, data collection techniques, tools or instruments used, and methods of data analysis. The methodology should be written clearly and systematically so that another researcher could understand the process and potentially replicate the study. Researchers should avoid vague descriptions and instead provide sufficient details about procedure, participants, variables, and analytical methods. A strong methodology increases the reliability and credibility of the research findings. The results section presents the actual finding of the study. This section focuses on reporting observations, data analysis outcomes, statistical findings, tables, figures, and other important research results. The purpose here is to present findings clearly and objectively without extensive interpretation. Researchers should organize results logically and ensure the tables and figures are properly labeled and easy to understand. One common mistake is repeating the same information in text, tables, and figures unnecessarily. Instead, each presentation format should add clarity and value. The results section should remain focused on what was found during the research process. The discussion section is where researchers interpret and analyze the meaning of their findings. Unlike the results section, which mainly presents data, the discussion explains what those findings mean in relation to the research objectives, hypotheses, and previous studies. Researchers often compare their findings with earlier research, explains similarities or differences, discuss implications, and identify possible limitations of the study. This section demonstrates critical thinking and academic interpretation. A strong discussion helps readers understand the broader significance of the research and how the study contributes to existing knowledge within the field. The conclusion section summarizes the overall outcomes and importance of the study. A good conclusion briefly revisits the research objectives, highlights the major findings, and explains the significance of the work. Researchers may also suggest recommendations, practical implications, or directions for future research. One important thing to remember is that conclusion should not introduce entirely new data or arguments that were not discussed earlier in the manuscript. Instead, it should provide a clear and meaningful closure to research paper. A strong conclusion leaves readers with a clear understanding of the value and contribution of the study. References and citations are essential components of academic writings because they acknowledge the original sources used in the research. Proper referencing demonstrates academic honesty, strengthens credibility, and helps avoid plagiarism. Different journals may require different citation styles such as APA, MLA, Chicago, or Vancouver styles. Researchers should carefully follow the formatting guidelines specified by the target journal. Accurate citations also help readers verify information, locate original studies, and explore related research further. Maintaining consistency in referencing style throughout the manuscript is extremely important for professional academic presentation. Even well designed research studies may face rejection because of poor academic writing and presentation. Some of the most common mistakes include grammatical errors, weak sentence structure, lack of clarity, poor organization, and inconsistent citation formatting. Researchers sometimes use unnecessarily complex language, excessive long sentences, or repetitive explanations, which can reduce readability and confuse readers. Another common issue is the absence of logical flow between sections of the manuscript. Academic writing should be structured, coherent, and reader friendly. Careful proofreading and revisions are essential before manuscript submission because small writing error can create a negative impression during peer review. Clear academic writing is one of the most valuable skills for researchers. Good writing does not mean using complicated vocabulary. Instead, it means presenting ideas in a simple, precise, logical, and professional manner. Researchers should avoid unnecessary repetition and maintain a smooth flow of ideas throughout the manuscript. Each paragraph should contribute meaningfully to the overall discussion. Using formal academic tone, proper transition, and consistent terminology also improves readability. Most importantly, writing quality improves through revision. Strong manuscripts are usually rewritten and refined multiple times before publication. Clear communication increases both the impact and accessibility of research. Tables, figures, and formatting play a major role in the presentation quality of manuscript. Visual elements such as charts, graphs, and tables help readers understand complex information more effectively. However, these elements should always be clear, accurate, properly labeled, and directly relevant to the study. Researchers should also carefully follow journal formatting guidelines regarding headings, fonts, spacing, citation, figure captions, and table presentation. Consistency in formatting creates a more professional appearance and improves readability. A well formatted manuscript reflects attention to detail and strengthens the overall quality of academic presentation. Before submitting a manuscript to a journal, researchers should perform a careful final review of the paper. One of the first steps is ensuring that the manuscript fits within the scope and objectives of selected journal. Authors should also carefully check formatting requirements, citation style, reference accuracy, plagiarism screening, ethical approvals, and overall manuscript completeness. Ignoring submission guidelines is one of the most common reasons manuscripts face delay or desk rejection. Careful preparation before submission demonstrates professionalism and improves the chances of a smoother review process. After manuscript submission, journals usually begin the peer review process. Initially, editors conduct a preliminary screening to evaluate whether the paper fits the scope of journal and basic quality requirements. If the manuscript passes this stage, it is sent to reviewers who are experts in the relevant academic field. Reviewers evaluate the originality, methodology, clarity, significance, and overall quality of the research. Based on reviewer feedback, authors may receive revision requests before a final editorial decision is made. Although the peer review process can sometimes feel challenging, it plays an important role in improving research quality and maintaining academic credibility. Receiving reviewer comments is a normal and important part of academic publishing. Researchers should approach reviewer feedback professionally and constructively, even when criticism appears difficult or extensive. Instead of reacting emotionally, authors should carefully analyze each comment and respond systematically. When revising the manuscript, it is helpful to explain clearly how each concern was addressed. If authors disagree with a reviewer's suggestion, they should respond respectfully with academic justification. Thoughtful revisions not only improve the manuscript but also demonstrate professionalism and scholarly maturity. In many cases, constructive reviewer feedback significantly strengthens the final published paper. As we come towards the conclusion of today's session, let us briefly revisit some of the major points we discussed. Writing an original research paper requires clear structure, logical organization, and systematic academic presentation. Each section of the manuscript, from title to the references, serves a specific academic purpose. We also discussed that strong research alone is not enough. Good academic writing, proper formatting, accurate referencing, and careful revision are equally important for successful publication. Most importantly, effective academic writing helps researchers communicate knowledge clearly, professionally, and ethically. A well written manuscript not only improves publishing opportunities but also increases the visibility, credibility, and the impact of research work. Writing a research paper is not only about presenting data or completing a publishing requirement. It is about contributing knowledge to academic community in a responsible, organized, and meaningful manner. Every strong manuscript is the result of continuous learning, careful revision, patience, and academic integrity. Researchers should remember that academic writing is a skill that improves gradually through reading, writing, reviewing, and practice. Even experienced researchers continuously refine their writing process. I encourage all researchers, scholars, and faculty members to focus not only on conducting quality research but also on developing the ability to communicate the research effectively. Clear and ethical scholarly communication is one of the foundations of meaningful academic contribution. Before we conclude today's session, let me briefly introduce the topic of our next episode in this series. In episode 5, we will focus on another highly important area of academic writing: how to write an effective literature review paper for journal publication. This session will help researchers understand how to critically analyze existing studies, identify research gaps, organize scholarly literature, and develop structured academic review papers. We will also discuss practical strategies for searching academic databases, synthesizing literature effectively, and avoiding common mistakes in literature review writing. Literature review papers play a very important role in academic research because they help researchers understand the current state of knowledge within a field and identify directions for future research. I hope you will find the next session useful as you continue your academic journey with us. Thank you for joining today's session of Anna Publishing Research and Ethics series presented by Anna Publishing Private Limited. I look forward to seeing you in the next episode.